Wait, you think my hair looks pretty? That's nice. I feel like it was really like a hardcover month for me. Hey everyone! Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So I'm sitting on the ground with a stack of books, which obviously means that it's time for my May wrap-up. I read 10 books this month. One of them I read on my phone, the rest were physical books. And I read, I think, 6 literary fiction books, 1 romance, and 3 thrillers. I'm just going to go through these and talk about them with you in the order that I read them. I did not rate any books 5 stars this month, but that doesn't mean I didn't love some of these books, so I'm going to get into the ones that I really liked. There were a couple that were sort of misses for me, but without further ado, let's get into the books. So the first book that I finished was Happy Place by Emily Henry, my 5th Emily Henry book. I believe I only have 1 more of her books left, and then I've read all of her books. I always love her. Her writing style is so easy, so fun, so sweet, and I really loved the sort of like found family friend aspect of this book. The friend group really made this one stand out from the rest of the books. I do think it's my least favorite, but it's friends to lovers, second chance romance, lots of great found family, and Emily Henry's like worst book is still going to be better than a lot of other authors' best book. So I really enjoyed this. I gave it 4 stars. And yeah, I read this while I was sick with COVID this month, beginning of the month, and it sort of transported me out of sickness land and into my happy place. On a very starkly different note, next I read The Audition by Katie Kitamura, which is a super weird, speculative, sort of like almost dystopian in the way that it feels. Literary fiction. This book is about, it's really short, and it's about an actress who is sort of living 2 versions of her life at the same time. One where she is a mother with a son, and one where she is married but no kids. And this novel sort of asks the question, like, what happens when 2 disparate versions of yourself that you see as possibilities sort of converge and become one life? It's super trippy, super weird. It's definitely one of my favorite books I read this month. It's super up my alley. This copy also happens to be signed, which is super cool. And yeah, this is definitely for a particular type of reader. But if you are the type of reader that would enjoy this, you'll really like it. I rated it like 4.75 stars. It was really, really quite good. The writing style is really interesting, and I think there are definitely certain types of readers who will really, really love this. And so if you know me and you know my tastes, like this is one of those weird books that really just like speaks to me, and I honestly haven't stopped thinking about it since I read it. So it definitely is a contender for favorite of the month. I don't think it's quite my favorite, but I think it's a very, very close second. Oh, well, this is a notebook, but the notebook is in the place of the book that I will tell you that I read on my like Kindle phone. I don't really have a Kindle, but I read on the Kindle app on my phone, which was The Tenant by Frida McFadden, which literally womp womp. Like, I love Frida McFadden. As you can, I have so many of her books back here. But her recent releases are honestly like really flopping for me, and I'll say it, and I'm not afraid to say it. I don't know, like something, I think she's just like pumping out all these books really quickly, and I don't know if a ton of care is like being taken with them. I think it was fun. Like, I read it in a day. It was twisty in the Frida McFadden classic type way, but I gave it 2 stars. It really didn't do anything special for me, like especially after reading so many of her books at this point. I've read like probably like 15 of them. It's just like it does get repetitive after a little bit. So yeah, that's what I thought of that one. That was my least favorite book that I read this month by a long shot. Next, we have Freak Slaw by Jane Fleet, which is a queer novel about a circus group that comes to a very conservative town and sort of works its magic, both literally and figuratively, on the residents there, trying to sort of change their minds about what they think life should look like. I think what stopped me from loving this one was the writing style. I think I honestly just didn't really vibe with the way this, like the style of this book. When I bought this, I really wanted to love it. Instead, I only liked it. I gave it 3 stars. I think there are super important messages in this book about what it's like to grow up different, not just queer, but different in any way, in a really conservative area where everyone is encouraged to be the same. But yeah, there wasn't like a single character that really I connected with in this book. It's sort of told from a bunch of different perspectives, and I think that might have been part of the problem for me. I think if we had one main narrator, I might have connected more with this book, but because it was sort of jumping all over the place, I didn't quite know what to latch on to. It seemed like the kind of book I would absolutely love. I gave it 3 stars. It was a bit of a disappointment, but it's still really good. I just think the particular writing style and the structure of the narrative just didn't really speak to me as much as I wanted it to. Next, this was so anticipated for me. I read When the Wolf Comes Home by Nat Cassidy. I read Nestlings by Nat Cassidy, and since then I just, honestly, have been thinking about it a ton, and when I heard this was coming out and was one of Aardvark's book club picks, I knew it was coming home with me immediately. I thought this book was really, really good. It was 4-star read for me. It speaks a lot about how fear is a really powerful tool for control, and I think in our current day and age, that's a really important message. It also speaks a lot about grief and addiction and trauma. There are some trigger warnings that come along with this book. If you are disturbed by needles and bugs, I would be wary. I don't like bugs. I had a fine time reading this. Nat Cassidy really loves his bugs, but it does sort of increase the creep factor, so I can appreciate it. But yeah, this was a really good, really, really good horror book. And not only was it freaky in a way that horror should be, it was also really powerful in a way that I think also good horror should be. Good horror should speak to something in our world that is truly scary and should have a message like that while also just being genuinely creepy. And this does both really well. So I gave that 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. Absolutely ate it up. It's short too. Next, I read My Friends by Fredrik Backman. This was my first Fredrik Backman book. First of all, look how gorgeous the naked hardback of this book is. It's so cute, and I think that's maybe Fredrik Backman's signature. At least I'm hoping it is. That would be really sick. And the end pages are stunning as well. But yeah, I mean, everyone online is raving about this book, so I'm sure that you already know that it is excellent. I gave this 4.5 stars, another favorite of the month. Beautiful things to say about art and friendship and found family, and this was just a really powerful, great read and reminded me to just always support my friends and be there for them. And as my first Fredrik Backman, it makes me really, really excited to read more of his work. I have Beartown sitting over there with my TBR, and I'm really looking forward to starting that series. I just need to find a time. I'm thinking maybe it's more of a winter book, and this felt very spring, summer, and I think it was a great first Fredrik Backman book to give me a sense of his writing style. I loved the sort of dynamic between the 2 main characters. It was so wonderful. Really nothing bad to say about it. Next I read That's What She Said by Eleanor Pilcher. Another stunning cover. I love this cover, and it's also signed, which is incredible. This book is not what I thought it was going to be. And not in a good way or a bad way. I just think I wasn't prepared for what this was going to be. I thought it was a romance book. Thought it was a queer romance. Turned out to be more of a women's fiction book, which is fine. I just sort of was wanting something from this that it wasn't going to give me, which is a little unfair to the book, but it just is sort of how it played out. But yeah, this book is about 2 friends, and one of them is super sex positive. The other one is a virgin at 28, and it's sort of about their friendship. One of them sort of teaching the other one to be more confident in her skin. It's a really easy read. That's what this book really has going for it. The writing style is so quick and fun. I buddy read this with my friend Maya, and that was a really fun thing to do with this book as well. And yeah, it's just about sort of standing up for yourself, realizing who you are. It's sort of coming of age type story. And it was fun. I gave this 3.5 stars. I didn't love it, but I did like it. It was fun. It was an easy, fun time. Next we have Deep Cuts by Holly Brickley, which is also a very hyped up book right now. And I understand why. This book was kind of addicting to read, to be honest. This is another under 300 page book, and I think honestly this could have benefited from being a little longer. I thought the ending was a bit rushed, but I did give it 4 stars. I love the way Percy, the main character, talks about music in this. That was my favorite part, was sort of listening to her music tirades and her music journalism, and reading her pieces of writing within the book was some of my favorite parts. I understand the comparisons to Magnolia Parks because of the sort of back and forth relationship that Percy and Jo have. I also understand the comparisons to Daisy Jones and the Six for similar reasons, but also with that added music element. I just noticed on the cover all the different titles of the chapters are down here. That's so smart. This is just a really smart, fun, and really powerful book, especially if music is something that you're really passionate about and something that means a lot to you. I would definitely recommend this. I just love the cover too, and I totally understand why this has as much hype as it does. All right. Ooh, my back hurts, you guys. Posture check. My mouth is dry. Next, I read Middle of the Night by Riley Sager. This was another 4-star book for me. I read it in one day though, and I always read Riley Sager's books in one day. They're just like compulsively readable. You cannot put them down. I'm a paperback stan, so I waited to get it in paperback, and when I saw it, I was like, I must have. But yeah, this is just like classic Riley Sager. Is this going to be like real thriller, or is this going to be supernatural? And I love the way those play out in his books. It's really, really fun, especially as someone who loves both of those types of books. It's fun to sort of figure out like which one is this going to be. And when he finally settles on it in the end of this book, I felt like it was really satisfying and earned. And I really love Riley Sager's thrillers. He's honestly one of my favorite thriller authors, even though he's a man, which I found out kind of recently and I was shook. But nevertheless, I do really enjoy his books. I gave this 4 stars. They're such fun, easy, thrilling reads, for lack of a better word. And then finally, perhaps my favorite book of this month was the one that I just finished on Thursday. It's called The Hop by Diana Clark, and I don't see nearly enough people talking about this book. This book is like if Daisy Jones and the Six was about S-workers. It's about a girl named Kate who grows up poor in New Zealand. And to make some extra money, she starts a kissing lesson business at her school, which slowly spirals into other lessons of similar but different variety. And it sort of spurs her into a life of S-work. And it speaks a lot about female empowerment and the way that women's bodies are commodified by society. But when women decide to profit off of that and take control of that and use it to their advantage, they are immediately judged for it. After she graduates high school, her mom passes away. You can find this on the back of the book. It's not a spoiler. Her mom passes away. She finds out her mom was a S-worker as well her whole childhood. And her mom also her whole childhood wanted her to be a star, a famous star, and that sort of spurs her to move from New Zealand to Las Vegas to become a bunny at a brothel called The Hop, where she meets a group of other S-workers, and the community that they build is so strong and powerful. It speaks a lot about celebrity, about parenthood, about just the way that women are treated in the world, and it was so powerful. Quite long. It's about 500 pages, but it's told in interview style, so every page is not a full page, if that makes sense. That's why it's sort of Daisy Jones and the Six like, because it's told in this interview format. And it was just so good. I cannot recommend that book enough, to be honest. Out of all of these books, I feel like this is the one that is talked about the least and is the most important read in the list. I really enjoyed this month, even though I didn't find a 5-star. I found so many books that I loved, so few that I really didn't love, and I'm just so happy to continue to share my little reading journey with you guys. And I can't wait to see what books I read in June. I can't believe it's already June. We're like halfway through the year at this point. That's crazy. Like, comment, and subscribe because I am a YouTuber now. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!